Support for today's show comes from Bin 113. Looking to grow your winery's direct-to-consumer sales? Bin 113 leverages proven marketing expertise to help U.S.-based wineries like yours acquire and retain more customers. With over 100 years of combined experience, we make your D2C marketing as exceptional as your wine. Visit bin113.com to learn how we can help you sell more wine.
Wherever peaches grow well, wine grapes also grow extremely well, and that's something that if you're in the industry, you definitely know one of those things. So Palisade peaches are world famous, and people love Palisade peaches. Presidents get them all the time. They're one of those fantastic things here, which means that this is some of the greatest agricultural land in the Mountain Time Zone.
Okay. Hello, Sandra. Good afternoon.
Well, hi there.
How are you?
Very good, Alan.
How's the summer going so far?
Well, it's rainy. I'm done.
We've had quite a bit of rain and cold weather, haven't we?
I'm done.
Finally got a nice sunny day today, which makes me think about the great state of Colorado.
Really?
Well, I think about it because I know nothing makes you happier than skiing.
Yes, the mountains. I'm a mountain girl. I am a total mountain girl, and I love skiing in Colorado. And my boys have trained alpine racers. They've trained in Colorado. Everybody, like, it's big in our family. So, but I never thought of going wine tasting in Colorado. I never thought of it.
A little bit about the state of Colorado, just to get started. It's the 38th U.S. state. It became a state in 1876, and it's called the Centennial State for the reason of
it was the 100-year centennial,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Right.
Obviously, it's a great place for all sorts of outdoor tourism, skiing in the winter,
the
hiking,
summers,
mountain biking. It's a beautiful place to be. What's really interesting to me about the state of Colorado, it's got a booming tech and aerospace economy, and that it's really interesting in that, unlike many other states, it's got the youngest and most educated population of any state in the country.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
So really interesting state. As far as the wine industry is concerned, started in 1890, where, believe it or not, the governor
of Colorado
at the time planted 60 acres in the Grand Valley, right near our guest's home today, a Palisade. But then it went away until 1968 because of Prohibition and all that stuff.
Which affected all the industries, all the wine industries across the whole country. Prohibition,
in 1977, there were only 2 wineries in the state of Colorado. There are now more than 150 commercial wineries in the state.
That's
so
amazing.
It's growing rapidly. And
this region, this Palisades, stunning, beautiful, mountains in the background, high plateaus. I can't wait to hear more about it.
Absolutely gorgeous. So here we go.
Yay.
To Colorado today. Keenan High, good afternoon. How are you?
Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you as well.
Thanks for having me on.
You're from Colterris.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about Colterris and the name itself, which I think is really interesting, and a little bit about, the wine industry in Colorado. What's happening out there?
Yeah, so as you know, Colorado's a pretty small wine industry, but really quick, Colterris, our name, COL, is short for Colorado, and terris is like terra, or Latin for earth or land. So our name really means Colorado land, or from the Colorado land. Nice. We're Colorado's largest estate-grown winery, which you can hear me talk about a little bit on the podcast, but basically, we do everything ourselves. We grow all the grapes, we produce all the wine here, we bottle all the wine here. Basically, if we didn't do any one of those things, we wouldn't be estate-grown, bottled, and produced. So to be a fully estate-grown winery, especially in Colorado, is something we are extremely proud of, and hopefully that shows in the glass too. One of the biggest things with us is, my parents used to say all the time, you can make good wine from good grapes, and you can make bad wine from good grapes, but you cannot make good wine from, I screwed it up.
From bad grapes.
We got it.
I think I screwed it up.
I think we got it.
But yes. The point being is that basically it all starts in the ground. It all starts with you there, and it finishes in the glass with highest quality at all times.
So interesting. So again, the mission of our podcast is to share with our listeners that there are great wines being made all over the country, and clearly, I don't think most people associate Colorado with the wine industry or producing great wines. How long have you guys been at it? How did your family get into it? What's sort of the history and the backstory, and why are you able to grow those great grapes in Colorado?
Yeah, so obviously a lot with that, but first a little bit of our history is that my parents have been in the wine industry for over 45 plus years now. So with that, they started in wine distributing. So they met in the wine distributing industry and they had a passion for wine. That's where they met. My mom was one of the top saleswomen in Colorado. My dad was the leader of the wine division for Classic Wines. He started Classic Wines here in Denver. So with that, he took a liking towards her. They had a passion for wine. They won a lot of trips because my mom obviously was a fantastic saleswoman. And when my dad proposed to my mom, he said, I will not promise you a rose garden, but I will promise you a vineyard.
Oh, that's a great
Around,
story.
yeah, a very nice proposal. She got both, little spoiler alert. But around 2000, my mom said, "Okay, where's that vineyard? Like, it's time to let's get this vineyard. I want to go and have a vineyard, and have a wine." And with that, on their way from Denver, because my dad's a Denver native, my mom's from Michigan, on their way towards Napa and Sonoma to start looking for agricultural land and vineyard land. My dad and my mom, they knew about Palisade, but they stopped in Palisade. We're about 38 miles away from the Utah border, so we're definitely on the western slope of the Rocky Mountains. And they stopped in there because there's an old saying that wherever peaches grow well, wine grapes also grow extremely well. And that's something that if you're in the industry, you definitely know one of those
Mhm.
things. So
Hmm.
Palisade peaches are world famous, and people love Palisade peaches. Presidents get them all the time. They're one of those fantastic things here, which means that this is some of the greatest agricultural land in the Mountain Time Zone. So on their way over there, they stopped here and they saw that there was an 11-acre peach orchard for sale and decided to buy it there, planning to take the peaches out and put in grapes. Fast forward a year or two, my dad said these peaches are way too good. We can't just take the peaches out. We should, keep the peaches. So fast forward a little bit, we expanded a little bit more, bought more land, and we're up to 200 acres now.
Wow.
So
Amazing. And
around
you
two.
have multiple, so you've got multiple vineyards, multiple vineyard names,
Mhm.
different wineries, different styles through all of these different vineyards. It's really quite a huge family family organization. I know you've got Katie's Vineyard, Scott's Vineyard, everybody's got their vineyard,
Yeah, we have, as I said, we've got 200 acres now. 70 of that is in grapes, and with three major locations now. So, starting in 2008, we really only had one wine, one vineyard, and that was Teresa's Vineyard. That was our Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's basically 16 contiguous acres of Cabernet Sauvignon, which is one of the larger contiguous vineyards, especially of Cab Sauv over here in the Mountain Time Zone as well. So, definitely
That's a
being
good
very,
question. What
yeah.
was your inspiration? I know maybe your parents seem to have been very driven by the Napa Sonoma inspiration. You have all French varietals.
Yes, majority French. We have Chardonnay, we have, or yeah, sorry, I was thinking more Bordeaux, but yeah, majority Bordeaux varietals, but
Mhm.
especially we think that those really intense wines thrive over here.
Hmm.
We're in a high desert climate. It's very difficult for certain grapes to grow here. You need different mesoclimates, especially more water for certain ones, like Pinot Noir is one that doesn't really thrive over here. But we see that this intense environment allows for really strong wines. So you get high tannin, intense fruit flavors in our Cabernet Sauvignon, more black currants. It's really strong, really, really heavy and full-bodied wines that we make, and we want to lean into that. We don't really want to try to strip it down, make it softer. We really want to lean into those types of things because having really intense red wines, for example, they go great with certain meals like steaks and your heavier meats. They go perfect with it. So why try to meet in the middle into something you can't really fit anywhere?
Right. Yeah.
And instead
Honor
go
what's
with
being
it.
grown. What is your elevation there where you
We're
are?
at 4,700 feet at our winery location, and our highest vineyard is at 4,800 feet. So,
Okay.
adding another 100 feet, especially when you're up in a high elevation, really makes a big difference. So,
Yeah, much
Scott's
cooler
Vineyard,
nights, right? So you're really
yeah,
keeping a lot of acidity in the grapes and a nice cool evenings and
yep.
warm days. And do you get quite warm in the summertime there, or what is your
Yeah,
average
so
temperature?
I was thinking about it today because we're right in the beginning of June and it's starting to hit 90 today, and I'm
Wow.
starting to get a little toasty. And we got peaches coming up, cherries are right on their way, but it's starting to get a little hot here in the summer. I'd say in the summers it gets you're averaging 100. But the thing is, at night it's that desert climate where it really does cool down. You can get back down to the 70s, 60s, some nights depending if it's raining or anything. And that temperature change is what we see allows, especially for peaches, allows peaches to kind of size up during the night and then in the days when they kind of start getting their flavors back. So the same thing with grapes, they can thrive here. You get a whole bunch of different flavors. You can grow quite a few different things. Like we have Cabernet Sauvignon, we have Chardonnay, we have Sauvignon Blanc, we have Syrah, but it's really those more intense wines. And we like to lean into that a little bit more. Riesling and Semillon we have seen are actually really thriving here too.
Oh, wow. Well,
Mhm.
So
love to.
Keenan, let me just ask you this. So with your family history, what was the first vintage? Uh,
First vintage was 2008, and it was Teresa's. It was Cabernet Sauvignon, and that was the only wine we had at the time. That was our 16-acre vineyard, and we started Colterris. 2010 was when our tasting room officially opened, and now we have over 14 different varietals and three different locations, and as I said, 200 acres. So over
Oh,
the past, I guess it's 15 years now, yeah, about 14, 15 years now, we have grown very quickly.
how many bottles a year are you producing now?
We're around 15,000 cases. That ebbs and flows. I just planted 4 more acres of vineyards last year, so we're actually waiting until those, we've got 2 or 3 years till those start kicking
right,
off.
right.
Through 4 different varietals, one being a Pinot Blanc, which I'm extremely excited for. Pinot Noir, Pinot Blanc. I did plant a little bit of Pinot Noir there, but I'm trying to really
See how it
test.
goes?
Not really for a red wine. It's not really made for a specific purpose there. Like we're not really going for a red wine with that one. We're
Mhm.
maybe considering a sparkling project.
Nice.
But again, that's at least 5 years down the road with that because we have Chardonnay already and it kicks butt here. So
Well, it's these are the winemaker decisions that really help a vineyard grow. And you're making these decisions now, and you have to be patient and cultivate it over 5 years before you can see your product.
yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, I always like to tell people too, we are farmers. We're at Mother Nature's mercy with things. Because in 2020, we had a frost that basically killed off our entire 2021 harvest. We do not have a 2021 vintage of anything.
Mm,
Because
Wow.
again, we're estate grown. So if we don't get a harvest, we don't have a wine that year.
mm.
So that was something that was really interesting and not really fun when you lose an entire vintage of
Oh
that.
no, my
It's
But
goodness.
it's not easy when your business partner is Mother Nature.
yeah,
Now you
exactly.
think about it.
That's what I'd love to remind people. We're still farmers at the end of the day. We farm a extremely beautiful product, but at the end of the day,
Yeah,
it is up to Mother Nature, and you have to be one at the ground too.
dealing with the earth. I'd love to get to the first wine. Excited
Yes.
to try this. You sent us a three, and I'm
Yes.
assuming the first one is the Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes, I have the Sauvignon Blanc, Coral, and the Cab.
Okay, now I'm very excited because I love to see how the different expressions of Sauvignon Blanc are
Mm.
made. And then of course, your parents being Francophiles, I'm guessing.
Definitely. But the thing
So tell
I
us more
always
about
like
this.
I always like the Sauvignon Blanc, but I guess first. Ours is a little more unique than your traditional. Everybody likes to think of New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs.
Right.
And ours, from an aromatic standpoint, differs more tropical fruits, more citrus fruits instead of your grassy,
Mhm.
acidic that most people are used to with Sauvignon Blanc. So ours shows more of those fruity characteristics
Oh, I'm
while
smelling
also
pineapple. I'm smelling like
yeah.
guava,
hmm I always see sometimes a smidge of grapefruit, which is
little
very interesting.
grapefruit, little
Yeah, but
lemon
not
zest.
not not to its detriment. Like some of the New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs have just gotten too acidic
I
for
think
me.
that sometimes they're too challenging. They're like the grapefruit just rips up the inside of your
Yeah.
mouth. It's
And
really
I think that's
intense.
something that has maybe hurt a little bit of Sauvignon Blanc, just looking at the markets. I talk to people all the time, come into the tasting rooms, do tours all the time. What I see is that I love Sauvignon Blanc. I'm a huge dry white fan. I love dry wines. So I'm a big Sauvignon Blanc fan. And sometimes I'm like, why don't you like Sauvignon Blanc? And I do see a lot of people that say it's just really acidic. It's really dry. Sometimes it doesn't hit my palate right. And I'm like, well, you got to try some different ones from
Not
different
dry, you're
areas,
not drinking the
different
right
places.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is really
So
lovely. It has no
ours is a little
acidity. It's
more
balanced. It's
smoother. Yes,
yeah,
that's
like the acidity doesn't crush the tropical
Right,
fruit notes.
exactly.
They're balanced really nicely.
thank you. That is what we shoot for with it. The reason
Wow.
why I start with that one is it really does get your salivatory glands going. It really does kind of
Hmm.
wake up the mouth.
Hmm.
Because I have three, I sent you guys three pretty unique or more interesting wines. Like our Sauvignon Blanc is not what you typically think of a Sauvignon Blanc, and then the rosé coming up later is truly, truly unique.
I've got to say, I like the acidity in this, but it's not overwhelming. It's
No,
not
I agree.
overwhelming me at all. Like it really is just it's not overwatering my mouth or anything like that.
I'm off those.
Yes. Yeah.
I was a big New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc guy and woke up, this year really, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, I can't do it anymore.
Done.
And we've had some
Done.
great California
Mhm.
Sauvignon Blancs, which have a profile much closer to what you
Mhm.
produce here. So tell us a little bit
Mm.
about food pairings with this
So I
particular.
always think like the first thing that comes to mind right away is a herb or lemon drizzle herb chicken, grilled chicken
Mm.
is one that just goes kind of fantastically with this. It complements the citrus that get on with the drizzle and the lighter meat of the chicken. It just flows very, very well. If you have a more moisture or more moist chicken, it really starts to
The
work well.
herbs, herbaceous, yeah.
Mhm.
I love Sauvignon Blanc. This kind of Sauvignon Blanc that's nice and, a little softer with goat cheese. And we're in
Mhm.
goat cheese season because it's spring
Mhm.
right now.
Right.
So like some of those ashy goat cheeses or like that with a little honey on them, that would be a great pairing.
You guys are killing me. I had like no lunch today, and it's four
Ooh,
something in the afternoon
be
here in
so good.
Connecticut. This
It's
is
about time to maybe get
excellent.
grilling.
So what's the retail price on the Sauvignon Blanc?
This is $30 to $28, depending on where you get it in there. But
Yep.
we are mainly distributed throughout Colorado. So we're
Okay.
all throughout Colorado, but we can ship to individual doors anywhere in the US. So you just
That's
got to double check
great.
our website and look at that. But
Sure.
$28.
And the website. Let's just make sure that our listeners get the web address from you.
Yes, colterris.com. Colterris.
Yes. Well, we're going to cut. We have our first commercial break. So we're going to cut to our first commercial break and we're going to come back and drink the next wine, which I've never had before. And I'm really excited.
Mhm. Awesome.
At Toomey, 50 years of innovation starts with you. Every zipper, handle, and wheel perfected to perform so you can perform. Day in and day out. Toomey, made for you since 1975.
Okay, we are back. Thank you. I'm going to pour the next wine, which I'm really excited about tasting because I've never tasted it before. But while I'm pouring this, you have an amazing project at your
Mhm.
vineyard coming up. Why don't you tell us about that?
So our third location that we just are about to grand open here is actually a wine collection museum. So it's a private collection. My dad has been collecting wine-oriented artifacts and memorabilia since he was 16. So about 54 years now of collecting things that are related to wine. And one way I like to describe it is we have a corkscrew made from the iron of the London Bridge that came down.
Wow.
There's only three of those in the world. So we're going to tell the story about the London Bridge, the song, everything about it. And then right in front of you, you see an artifact, a corkscrew made by the silversmith of the Queen, who is from that iron of that bridge. We have
Oh,
Oh,
a
cool.
cavalry
yeah.
saber from Napoleon in the Battle of Waterloo,
Oh,
which everybody's kind of seen a sabering of a champagne bottle where they
Of course.
knock the top off with a little sword. Basically, that started with the Napoleonic Wars and large cavalry sabers. So we have a cavalry saber there to explain the tradition of sabering. But we have 16,000 pieces of wine memorabilia,
wow.
and 8,000 of those are going to be displayed at one time within the museum with the intent of us to rotate certain displays in or
Mhm.
out. But we have
Amazing.
things from all over the world. Bordeaux being one of our favorites. We have all our favorite. We have all five first growth Bordeaux bottles in there, pictures, stories, because my dad has met a few of the people, pictures with the stories in there. And then something fun for everybody. Like if you like jets and aviation, we have corkscrews and Tostavons from the Concorde jets before they stopped flying,
Hmm.
made from the Concorde jet, made from the titanium of it, which is really cool and unique.
Wow.
We have artifacts from all the famous champagne houses. Kind of just, if you like wine, the intent of this, we don't really like calling it a museum because when everybody thinks of museum, they think snobby, you got to wear the headphones, there's a bunch of people everywhere. That's not really the point. It's really go have a glass of wine, walk around and look at some very unique, interesting things that you never would have known about that's just related to wine. It's more so enjoy, relax, have fun, and it's going to be opening in 2 weeks, and we
Two
are
weeks.
very excited for it
What's
because
the date for that in 2 weeks?
say what?
The date it will be it's June. Is it the
June
weekend of
23rd.
the June 23rd?
That's
Excellent.
really exciting. Good luck with it. And
Yes.
so what a unique thing for people to do when they
Yeah,
come to visit the winery, right? Is to
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah.
take in that kind of collection.
that's really amazing. And the biggest one in the world.
Now we have two reasons to visit.
Oh, well, a third reason, I'm a big skier, so I gotta factor that in there too.
Mhm. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're really excited for it. And again, my dad, he's been collecting stuff forever, so he's just really happy to share it with the world.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Well, now let's try this wine. Tell
Yes.
us, okay,
Oh,
nobody really, it's very rare that you hear about a white Cabernet Sauvignon.
yes.
And, why don't you tell us about how this came to this choice? First of all, why did you choose to make a white Cabernet Sauvignon?
Yes. So when we first we're making wine, as I mentioned, Cabernet Sauvignon from Teresa's Vineyard was our very first wine, his very first grape. It's the only varietal we had at the time. The thing is, it's kind of tough to drink a heavy Cabernet Sauvignon when it's 100 degrees outside in the summer. When we were talking
Yeah.
about that, it's a little tough. So we really wanted to make a white wine that has a slight bit of acidity, a little bit of refreshing, crisp strawberries, out of a red wine, right? So we made a rosé, but it's still in a dry style. So this has, I believe, around 10 grams per liter of residual sugar, which in the grand scheme of things really is not a ton of residual sugar. It's still classified as a dry style wine,
Okay.
but a little bit of that sugar or that residual sugar, it helps kind of liven the palate while sort of softening the acidity of it. Because again, it's made the same grapes that we use to make our Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
It's huge. The same vineyard site, same grapes, just completely different winemaking styles.
Right.
We
So
want
basically, for some of our listeners that might not know, red wine gets its color from contact with the skins. So
Mhm.
you pull the skins off immediately. You just press the free run juice and you just take those skins off right away, right?
Exactly. We treat it like a white wine. So as soon as the red Cabernet Sauvignon grapes come into the facility, they get destemmed and the berries go immediately into our press. So the color of the wine, the color of the juice, which is this light pink, it almost at first glance looks like a white wine. If you didn't have a white wine like Sauvignon Blanc next to it,
Exactly.
most people would think it's a white wine with maybe a hint of pink to it. But
Yeah.
that is the color of the juice right when we crush it, right when we get it
Wow.
into the facility.
It's
So
beautiful. I'm looking at the nose and it's very interesting. I'm getting everything from like apple
I
and
was thinking
banana.
apple.
Do you get
Yeah.
banana too?
They got the
I
banana.
got like like a little bit of that.
mhm. Which
Did
is
you
very
oak
unique
this? Is it
for
oaked? Is it, I don't know,
it's
minorly or?
completely unoaked on this one. So
Uh-huh.
basically treating it completely like a dry style white wine. So it has the skin contact for I would say maybe an hour because it's as long as it takes us to get it
Just to press it,
processed and
right?
into the tank. So it does get that slight hue, but we see with just that little bit of contact, that's where it gets a little bit of that body that you guys are talking about. It pulls
Mm.
some of those red wine characteristics, but not so many that you think it's a red wine back again. So the purpose for this was that it's a white wine made from red grapes. So if you like white wine, it has the acidity to it, has the refreshingness, it's light, it can be chilled more. But if you like red wine, it has some body to it, has some flavors. And if you like sweeter wines, this has some residual sugar that balances
It
the
Right.
palate.
does.
I'm trying
So
to
it
think what
doesn't
I
affect.
would
It's
compare it
interesting.
to.
I don't know what to
I'm
compare it
I'm
to. And
thinking.
it's interesting. The acidity and the sugar balance each other. Like
Mhm.
you can taste the sugar, but there's enough acid there that
Yeah.
really makes it
I'm
refreshing.
going to go with like some of the Finger Lakes Rieslings.
It could,
Similar,
it could, yeah,
very similar
yeah.
for me on
Mhm.
my palate,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not the most sophisticated
No,
as
I mean, heck,
as you know.
you're
She's the expert, by the
you're
way.
growing, right? But I think that was a great call. I think that's
I
a
think
really
so.
great call.
And so, Keenan, what about food with this? This is delicious, but what would you recommend serving with this?
There's a couple fun things with it. One is I would try to get it very chilled. I really like it very chilled. It was before that intent that you can sit out on your porch on a hot summer day, in the evening and sit and relax with it. So it doesn't really need a food pairing with it. But if any, I would say a little more of I always think spicy
Mm.
because the sweetness and the spice you either go parallel with it, so you go dry with spice or you go sweet with spice. You kind of go
Little
completely against.
Indian cuisine or something
Yeah,
like
an Indian cuisine, maybe a little bit
that.
of Asian style food with it, or
Yeah.
just maybe throw in
So
some
you're
sushi.
calling this your porch pounder.
Yeah, basically. It really has come to that. I mean, a lot of people love this wine. Coral, when we
It's
first made
delicious.
it, it's hard to describe, it's hard to show, it's hard to
Yeah.
talk about. But everybody who comes in the winery, as I mentioned, if you like white, if you like red, if you like sweet, it fits somewhere in there. If we see people love it, they love to bring to a party because everybody's gonna like it. There's nobody's really gonna hate it for
It's
any
really nice. Like,
particular.
you're right. Like, it's like a hot weather wine.
It's
There's
very
something
drinkable.
very quaffable.
Swappable.
Quaffable.
Mhm.
I like that. So,
Delicious.
price point,
This is also at the $28 mark.
$28.
Nice.
I mean,
Really
I
nice.
think that's a steal
Wow.
at $28, don't you?
Yummy. Like my mouth's still watering. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
We have our wine club that we get people requesting to have coral in it all the time because our wine club goes throughout the US. So we all the time we do one where you can edit and change your wine club. So
Mhm.
we
Nice.
select the newest ones coming out, the more unique releases, the limited releases. Those go to our wine club members first, but we make it so you can edit it, and we see coral gets put in there all the time. We actually see a lot of people just upping from a 3 bottle to a 6 bottle, and 3 of those bottles are coral. So it's one of those wines.
Wow. And you're saying you're calling it coral. That's
Yeah,
the,
so it has a more fanciful name.
there it is. Oh, I couldn't see it. Yep. Coral. There we go.
Because white Cabernet Sauvignon, as you mentioned in the very beginning, is not really heard of in the wine industry. If you go
Right.
to a
No.
Total Wine, you go to a liquor store somewhere and you say, I want to see a white Cabernet Sauvignon, I bet somebody's going to laugh at you and be like, that's not a thing, right?
I know.
So,
That's why I was so excited to try it. So thank you for sending it.
Kind of
I was
matches,
really-
kind of matches your blouse,
Just my
you
blouse,
know?
by the way.
yeah, and we named it coral because of the color.
Yeah, it is. It does have like just that little essence of a hue of a pink and almost like a little golden pink together. It's very pretty.
Yeah, each year when we make it, due to that time of processing and everything, the color does slightly change. And we actually have a few people that go around and be like, oh, what's the color? Is it going to be more pink this year? Is it going to be lighter this year? So we have some people who just love seeing
Love
the
it.
slight variations with it. Because
Oh,
again, Mother Nature gives us something different every year.
Yeah.
well, let's cut to our next commercial on that note because I think that was really perfect, perfectly well said. Interesting, yummy wine. We'll be right back.
Venue Magazine is timely and timeless. Contemporary art and design, food and wine, architecture, motoring, yachting, music and film, and more. Find it all at venuemagazine.com.
We are back with our last and final delicious wine. Let me reach over and get it. The Colterris Cabernet Sauvignon 2019.
Yes, so this is one of our best vintages so far. I always like to say that our best vintage is the next vintage, right? We always
Yeah, I
want to
love that.
keep going up from there. But this one just won a double gold medal in the San Francisco International Wine Competition.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And as you know, a double gold medal means that every judge in the competition gave it a gold. It's not just one
Wow.
gold, it's everybody said it was a gold.
That's
So
fabulous.
very proud of this
Let's
one.
look at this. I love to look at it over the white.
Yeah.
Beautiful, almost a garnet color. I mean, it's still got a deep ruby, but it's got a little bit of a garnet hue to me.
Mm-hmm. Really intense color
What
too.
a nose! That is pronounced.
It really
That is a big old nose on this wine.
Yeah, and as I said from the beginning, we like to lean into that. We want to have more flavor, more
Oh, you
intensity.
did.
And that's what it shows. That's what we hope.
It worked out.
That's something. I'm like blackberry and cigar box
Yep.
and oh my gosh, vanilla spice. Like there's all kinds of chocolate. I'm getting everything, all of those. It's like it's
It's
all
a lot of complexities.
a
There's a lot of
tsunami.
things to it, but at the same time, when you try it, it shouldn't blow your socks off. It's not going to blow you away. It's so big. There's just a lot to it. It's more fun that way. We
Oh,
think
I'm
it's
just
really
enjoying it.
intense,
Smelling.
I
and
think
we
you
always
just,
want to make world-class wines.
you
So,
just changed my dinner plans. I think I need to go and have a steak.
yeah, see, it completely changes away, right?
Yeah,
But that's
this
why I
is
sent it.
even just smelling this. This is totally a steak wine or a big nice like on the grill, something on the barbecue.
Yeah, it's a bold one, that's for sure. But
Wow.
we do make lighter reds, but I wanted you guys to see
Oh.
the kind of spectrum of the things we can make. 'Cause
Is
we
it
make a
100%
killer Malbec.
Cabernet Sauvignon? Did you?
This, I believe, is the upper 90 percentile.
Okay.
All of our varietal specific wines, so we make a Malbec, a Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, Cabernet Sauvignon. All of those wines that you see with a varietal for us, they're in the 90 percentile plus. It's 90% plus of that specific grape.
Right.
We just every year we like to have a few percentage points to maybe liven it up if it was a soft spring. Maybe we add a little bit of Petit Verdot in there. 5% Petit Verdot is not going to completely change the flavor profile of the wine, but it might bolden it up, give it some tannin, those types of things. So this is in the upper 90s for sure. We do have vintages where it is 100% because we have Teresa's Vineyard that has Cabernet Sauvignon, Vineland's Vineyard has Cabernet Sauvignon, Riverside Vineyard has Cabernet Sauvignon. So we really play with those percentages from different vineyard locations more than different varietals per se.
Right.
We have fun with our Colorado Bordeaux blend that one we play with different varietals quite a bit.
Sure. So, Keenan,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the experience for people who want to come and visit, both
Yeah.
tasting room and upcoming events that you may have. We'd love
Yeah,
to
your
hear a little
website
bit.
had a great amount of events
Yeah.
coming up for the
Thank
summer
you. We're
series.
always trying to get more. Colorado, it's beautiful out here in the summer. So we always try to do as many events as we can in the summer. We have our wine club our wine club event coming up here actually this weekend, which is going to be more of a livid luau is what we're calling it. We make a rosé called a Malbec rosé that's called livid, that's a little more dry and complex than the coral you just had. So we're kind of showing that one off at that event. In July, we're starting our Summer Sunsets series, which is a music event every Friday where we have a live band that comes in, food truck, and come and enjoy a sunset at the winery, having wine with a little bit of live music and
Oh
a
my God,
background.
with that mountain behind you, it must be spectacular. I know we're gonna have some pictures up on here,
Mhm.
but wow, so beautiful, very dramatic with the mountaintop and the where the vineyard flattens out. I mean,
Yep.
so stunning.
Yeah, the Grand Valley is extremely beautiful, so we want to show off some of that beauty. That's why we have our winery location, which is right next to the Colorado River. Our overlook location is sitting up on that plateau that you kind of mentioned, so it overlooks the entire valley. And then our new collections location with the museum. So we have some different atmosphere at all different locations. And each time of season or each time of the year, we want to kind of show off different things. So the winery with some music, we're kicking it off with a really big band, the Petty Nicks Experience, which is like if Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks got together. It's kind of a what is the word? It's a band
Like a
that,
cover of the two of them
yeah, yeah.
combined, or yeah.
Well, and so we're kicking off with that experience, which we had them last year at our Wine Festivus, is what we call it. If you've seen Seinfeld, you've all
Of
heard of
course.
Mhm.
so we have one called the Wine Festivus, which is like the Festivus for the rest of us.
Of
They have
course.
the wine festival every year. It started during COVID because it unfortunately got canceled during COVID, but we did our little festival and we have a band that comes every year, a big band. We had them last year and we had so much demand to have them back that we are going to start a series with them. And then in September, when the wine festival happens, we're going to finish with the Long Run Band, which is an Eagles tribute band
Oh,
that has played
nice.
at Red Rocks and everything. So kind of two big bookends with little musical performances every Friday for about 2 months.
Wow.
That's awesome. I think it's really unique that you've got the multiple venues
Mhm.
for people to visit. So somebody who comes to see you each time doesn't have to have exactly the same experience. They can sort of pick and choose. I just think that's so charming.
Yeah, that's
I
really
love it.
cool. And
Yeah.
the museum sounds amazing.
It does.
I have to go
Yeah.
back to the wine
Mhm.
because we didn't talk about like I'm getting a lot more herbal notes
Mhm.
when I'm sipping on this. Like when when I smelled it, I was like it was just so big and lush and all the flavors. And now I'm like I'm getting nice little tannin in the middle, but some like herbaceous kind of notes that come
Mhm.
to me. I'm trying to think like dried herbs or
Really?
something. Yeah, just really. I mean, this would be really nice with a steak.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh my
I'm not even
gosh.
gonna ask about food pairings.
I think steak.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think steak.
Carnivore. That is so good.
Maybe a nice, lettuce wedge to start. You know.
No, I'm getting the fruit, but it softens out, and then like there's just this nice herbal finish comes to it, which is really
It really develops as it's been open
Mm.
too, especially so throughout the course of a meal as you're saying, it really does change a little bit in the glass. It grows on you and
Mm.
it has different things. And that's why, again, that's why we like the complexity. We want that. We're not going to try to strip it down and make it boring. We want those different things to come out.
Oh
I
yeah.
think you've succeeded.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. The
And
leather.
I'll ask
Nice.
again the price point on the cab.
This one's 32.
Nice.
Wow,
Mhm.
Really nice.
that's a good deal.
Yeah, all your price points are really, I think, terrific,
Thank you.
actually. Really great.
So what do you see down? Obviously you've got the collections, the museum opening, but what's sort of next for you guys? What's the next big challenge that you're looking to overcome?
Other than your Pinot Blanc, which I'm sure will be really exciting.
Yeah, that one's fun. We're really excited for that. I'm looking forward to making a Colorado Blanc as well. So Colorado is like Colorado, but ending in EAUX. So the
Oh,
Bordeaux
cute.
blend. That one has won every time we submit it to a competition, it wins an award because it's our wine that we let our winemakers say, pick anything from anywhere, any percentage, and you make the wine that you want to make with that one. So I'm making a Colorado Blanc, which is going to have Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon, so more of a Bordeaux white style, which is I'm particularly impartial towards. I
Me
love
too.
Bordeaux whites.
Me too.
That's coming up. We're finishing up the museum. We have a couple other locations in the middle of downtown Palisade that we're looking at developing soon. So we have we're building another white wine making facility. So we have a red wine making facility, and we're going to have a white wine making facility within the next 3 to 5 years. As I mentioned, that hint at a sparkling project.
Hmm.
So basically, my parents and we have a laundry list of things and ideas that we come up with that we want to do in the future and have those. So a lot of these kind of come at our business meetings, which are over a couple glasses of wine with dinner, is usually where we talk
Yeah.
about what if we had this? What if we innovated with this type of
Really exciting growth. I wish you the best, and I hope people, you don't think of, again, around the country, we're
Sure.
tasting really great wines. And I mean, Colorado, me, I think of skiing,
Yeah,
and but
exactly.
like there's so much more. And to make this kind of part of your journey to go and visit a great state of Colorado and taste some wonderful
So,
wine.
so how do we get invited to your business meetings?
They're fun, right? You always have wine in them, I'll tell you
I
that.
was going to say, I
Um,
mean, we're doing okay over here, but
Yeah.
those sound better.
Yeah, that sounds like a good board meeting to me.
Oh yeah, it's usually pretty fun after a glass of wine. But at the end of the day, Colorado, as you mentioned, really isn't known for wine, but it has grown exponentially, I would say, over the past decade. When we first got over here, it's still that thing of nobody really has heard about it, or Colorado, they ski and they're in the mountains. It's hard to grow anything.
Yeah.
What do they know about making wine? And I always remember the story of Bottle Shock a little bit, where
Sure.
they say. The Americans don't know how to make wine. They just make wine in jugs and blah, blah. California doesn't know what they're doing. But now look at California. Now look at how much they've grown. They're a world player in the world of wine. And you're starting to see all these other industries, all these other regions in the US especially grow and show off their styles. In Colorado, on the western side, once you get past the skiing towns and the mountain, it is a fabulous location for growing anything, but especially wine. So at the end of the day, Colorado is really starting to become known for its recreational activities that you can do in Denver and over in the mountains, and come over and enjoy a glass of wine. You can kind of do a lot in this
Absolutely.
state.
No, it's beautiful. It's like a really exciting part to go to Colorado and see. I mean, really, it's wonderful. And
Hey, guys, got to come out and see it.
your photos, everything, your video, just beautiful. Absolutely
We
beautiful.
just got an
Stunning.
invitation
Thank
Anytime.
I think that was to a dinner meeting.
I think we can arrange something
you.
like that.
I
At our new location, we actually just put in a professional kitchen too that has like a show
Excellent.
kitchen portion of it. So we're planning
Interesting.
on doing winemaker dinners, all the styles, 5 course dinners, anything you think to pair with our wine. So
How
Well,
we could
exciting.
arrange
we'll
that.
give you a little time to work the kitchen in, and then
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and then we'll show up. Okay.
We'll be
All
there.
right, I'm on
What a
board.
pleasure to talk to you, Keenan. And I mean, congratulations and best of luck with all of this. This is really,
Absolutely.
really overwhelming what you're bringing to that community.
And
Amazing.
what a treat. Really.
Yeah, there's over I believe there's over 27 wineries now in Palisade here in Grand Junction and in Colorado. So really the industry is growing a lot. And at the end of the day, I want to bring attention to the industry as a whole, to the Colorado industry, because as you're saying, Colorado is still small. But I want people to come see this hidden gem, because
Well,
we're never going to be able to grow as big as California or any of the other industries, because the only reason we can grow grapes here is because of the Colorado River. So that water can only go so far. That land can only go so far. So it's going to be a very, very nice place to keep coming.
I think your attitude is a good one. The old saying is a rising tide lifts all boats. And the fact is that if you and all of your neighbors all do well, it just becomes that much more of a desirable region for people to come and visit. So good for you and good for us, because what happens now is Sandra and I arm wrestle over who's keeping which bottle. She always wins.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, she always wins. So, Keenan,
Hey,
thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
have a wonderful summer.
Enjoy.
Thank you, you guys as well. I
And a
appreciate
great
it.
opening.
So, I know we say that all the time.
Yes.
And
Colorado.
and
Who would have thunk it?
and the whole mission of this podcast is for us to continue to say
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
all the time, because I mean,
To be pleasantly surprised.
when you walk into the local wine shop here in town,
Yeah.
you're not there looking for a wine from Colorado
Oh,
or
and you can't, like he said, they're not even distributed around, but
Right.
you can go to their wine club and have a chance to taste them. They're really interesting. I love the Sauvignon Blanc. Let's run through it. The Sauvignon Blanc was just the style I like. It was like not overly acidic, had that nice peachy kind of, tropical fruit thing, perfect acidity. And then this white Cabernet Sauvignon was just so unique,
it was excellent.
really
It was
unique.
excellent. And I did channel in my sort of way of thinking, some of the
You-
nice Finger Lakes.
Yeah, like a nice a dry
Rieslings.
Riesling, but
Dry
it's like
Riesling.
a dry Riesling with a little more body. This
It's
has a
not-
lot more oomph to
So
it.
not
But
quite, not an off dry, but
Yeah.
kind of dry, but you're
yeah,
right.
like a
little-
porch pounder, like a yummy, delicious. It makes your mouth water.
You just
You
like
know,
saying-
peachy. It's a great wine, right? I want to sit on your front porch and have the wine in the hot weather.
And the Cabernet itself, again,
Cabernet
not a Cabernet lover, but that's a killer Cabernet.
Yeah, but we're gonna work on you.
We
We're
are
working on you.
work in progress.
This was a big. I'm still sniffing it. The big killer Cabernet. The nose was amazing, and then the finish was like this herbal kind of dry herb thing. It was great.
And Keenan was lovely. He's a great ambassador for their brand.
Yeah, and their region.
Love the fact that it's a family business. I'm
Yep.
a fan of family businesses, as you know. And so this was terrific. And
Dolly says goodbye.
Dolly says goodbye. So thank you.
Bye bye.
Please remember to subscribe to Wine Across America on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.